Well, I think that's simple. I mean, men could have female friends and women can't have male friends.
Whoa.
End the podcast.
No,
All right.
no.
Well, what's the next topic? Hey, what's going on? It's your man, Cas.
And Bell.
And we're here for another Divorce Not an Option, where we talk about relationships and marriage and try to help people with our 22 years experiences. So, baby, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so this week we're going to jump into a topic that's been trending on social media. So this is Gucci Mane wife Keisha sitting on a man's lap, which that man I believe is Carlos Keen. And so social media has been buzzing and talking about, is it acceptable? Is it respectful? Is she disrespecting her husband and her relationship? And so I thought we would kind of, do a deeper dive into that, talking about that, and then kind of, bring it over to relationship, of course, with the opposite sex, right? If, does it create some type of issue with a woman having men as friends and men having, female as friends, and kind of delve into that.
Well, I think that's simple. I mean, men could have female friends and women can't have male friends.
Whoa.
End the podcast.
No,
All right.
No.
Well, what's the next topic we're going to talk about?
No, absolutely not.
Well, okay. Well, all right. So all right. Are we going to talk about marriage or just being in a regular relationship? I mean,
no, we're going to talk about marriage because she is married, right?
Okay. Well, yeah. I think. Okay.
I mean, we could talk about relationship and bring it to marriage, of course.
Well, I don't want to sound like a male chauvinist. All right. But I think when you have friends of the opposite sex in a marriage, it complicates the marriage. But then I think it's also the kind of friends you may have. I think that men and women in a relationship need to, well, one, I have to say this. Okay. You know what? Because I want to be politically correct, but then I don't want to be like a male chauvinist, but I don't want to not represent for my men and say something. I want to sound like a simp. But I think both should not have friends, acquaintances, people you cool with, but friends. So when I hear friends, I mean I hear like somebody I'm hanging out with all the time. I'm kicking it with. I'm going to certain places with, things like that, right?
Yeah, that's a friend.
Associates to me is somebody that could have been a friend growing up, but once you got married. Now it's more like, once in a while, hey, how you doing? The family doing, blah, blah, blah. Maybe you and your wife or your husband, saying whatever, go out with that person to lunch or dinner once in a while, things like that. But I call that associates rather than friends. And, but individual time, chilling, kicking it. Oh, baby, me and him's gonna go to lunch, or me and my homegirl gonna go to breakfast together. Something. I think there's a certain line that shouldn't be crossed, because at the end of the day, it's a very slippery slope. Also, it's very bad when you're married and you have a problem. If your wife or husband is talking to somebody of the opposite sex. Now, granted, you shouldn't be talking to nobody about your marriage and your problems. And I think that's another podcast we're going to get into in the future. But the last thing you should be doing is run into the opposite sex and tell them how bad your husband or your wife is treating you. That opens a lot of doors for things that shouldn't happen. It opens doors for uncomfortable situations, or to put yourself in a compromising situation. So I vote no. I don't have any girlfriends like that where like I'm kicking it with, I'm, gonna, that's just my homegirl. I'm telling her, I have friends, females that I grew up with that I'm cool with, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's never, let me you go catch lunch or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I think there has to be some type of line. Now, if you call those associates friends, or if they are your friends, limit the relationship. Have boundaries in the relationship. Boundaries that don't come in the way of your marriage. That's how I see it. So that's why everybody says friends are different. So it's like, that's why I'm like, not to have friends is like, you should be an alien, alienate yourself in your house and don't talk to nobody. And if somebody's opposite, oh my God, no, especially if you knew them for a while. But I think there needs to be limits to the relationship. Like I think, the issue people had with Gucci Mane's wife was how she was sitting on his lap on the boat. I think that was inappropriate, personally. I think that's crossing a boundary. That it is one thing of the picture. Maybe it was just a second, just for the media. I get it, but still, now that picture's everywhere. Your husband is embarrassed because now his wife is having pictures on some other man's lap that's going viral. So you gotta be careful. Now, it could have been innocent. You know what I'm saying? Could have been like, hey, we're having fun. Picture, boom. That was a second. But that picture is forever. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a slippery slope when you have friends that have the opposite sex. What do you think, my love?
Yeah, I mean, as far as having friends with opposite sex, I mean, I don't have any male friends. I mean, even, I'm not saying even the ones, it's not so much growing up with or ones I met in high school and college. So I call all of them associates, as far as, because I don't hang out with them, I don't talk to them on social media, I don't talk to them on text messages, I don't have any conversations. But when I see you in public and we acknowledge each other, oh hey, how are you, oh hey, how's stuff, okay, chat, quick chat, that's what I call an associate. And an associate is not someone that I'm going to follow up with periodically. Hey, how are you doing? How's it? No, that's to me is a friend. You just don't talk to them often. So I mean, we have associates. I have associates. Like, you're never gonna, look at my phone and see text messages from any guy friend, and plus, and again, I'm not having those conversations either. So I do think there needs to be boundaries. Now granted, if you are dating, it's a little different. So you're dating, right? And then you have, the opposite sex as friends, and then when you get married, now all of a sudden, they're not your friend no more. Now all of a sudden you're like, nope, I'm married now. You can't be my friend. I can't talk to you, da, da, da. So that's not, the way to go about it, because, they're your friends, right? So I think it's just establishing real boundaries. So that means that, if your husband, if you guys were dating and now you're all married, if you have friends that you guys, want to talk about, or maybe you all go out to dinner with, and, like real friends, and then I think, you need to, have some type of boundary with that type of relationship. You're not going out one-on-one. Oh, I'm just going to go out with Sally to the movies, or I'm going out with John out to lunch or dinner. That, to me, in a marriage, I think it's a little, because what are you going to talk about, right? You're just going to talk about your marriage, and then you're going to talk about whatever issues you're having with that person. And, you're not going to sit here and have, when you weren't married, you're not going to have these, other conversations. You're going to, talk. And the more people you have in your marriage, telling or saying whatever to, it's just more chaos.
Yeah. And I think what couples need, especially married couples, is they need to say, what is the reason why I want to keep this person around? What is the purpose? If you are so close with a male friend that when you finally pick your husband, you or your wife, vice versa, that you don't understand the boundaries, then your marriage is gonna fail, because you're already going into it not respecting the marriage. It's like when people have kids, when your friends have kids, that their time is going to be limited. A lot of these people out here getting mad. Oh, they got kids and they're married and they can't spend no time.
Yeah, because you're booed up, or you're taking care of stuff.
But that's just the progression of life.
Yeah.
And if your friend is mad at that, then they're not truly your friend. Because if I have a friend and they got married, male or female, back in the day, I would step back and respect it and say, I'm here when you need me. I want you to be happy, do your thing. And people don't do that. I think people get caught up with their friends, quote unquote, getting mad at them for not hanging out with them, things changing. But see, the point is this: if you got married, life is going to change. That's just how it is. And there are certain things, sacrifices you're going to have to make. And it shouldn't even be seen as a sacrifice because you're going to the next level of your life with your spouse.
Right.
So don't, you're not insulting the people from the past, this person. But at the end of the day, there's a boundary. When you get married, this man or this female is your sole person. Right now, if you want to have as guys, the boys, cool. If you want girls, the girls, cool, because it's a different dynamic. But when you are with the opposite sex, it's always something. Now, let's be real too, guys and women. Let's be real. Let me know how many women that truly, and maybe some guys, but mostly girls, let's be real, have a guy best friend that they didn't date or sleep with. It's very rare that it usually, let's be real, I've heard, he's my best friend. Okay, cool. Usually it starts off that he either liked her, they dated, they slept together, and they worked out. They just wanted to be friends afterwards. It was always something more than just, hey, we're really friends, right? It's really rare, you know what I'm saying, that you see a guy and a girl that are just truly friends and never wanted each other. There's always one. I mean, how many stories you hear, how many movies you see of the best friend loving the girl or the best friend loving the guy. I mean, that is just something. And the thing is, when you really care for somebody, right, on a friendship level, it is hard to keep it platonic at a lot of times with people. You know what I mean? Because the feelings are there when you're down, he's there or she's there, boom, it happens, a one night stand or whatever. It's very, very hard. And let's be real. I don't believe any guy could be a woman's friend. Now, unless this girl is ugly, nasty, and stinks, I don't think a man is capable of being a woman's friend. Now, if she a baddie, I mean, if she fat, ugly, nasty, stinky,
why she gotta be fat, ugly, nasty, and stinky?
Because there won't be any desire for him to want. But most men,
there's someone out there for
most men. Yeah, exactly, they are. But most men like women. And if this woman is halfway attractive, you can't tell me that it's never crossed his mind of hooking up with her. And at that point, that's not really friendship because you don't look at your friend like that. Most women, unfortunately, most women will look at a guy and really put him in a friend zone and not think anything more.
Right.
But see, it's not the woman we have to worry about. It's the man. And let's be honest, I've been there too in my past life, in my other lives, where I've had a friend, couple of friends that, their man messed up. They came over to complain about their man. And I was like, I was like, man, that messes up.
Sympathetic,
I don't know why your man doing that to you. If you know what I'm saying, he should treat you better. You're a queen. You're beautiful. Yep. All of a sudden, we waking up to the sun.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
And I've been there. So there's really is no friendship. Like any woman that I know that from the past that hits me up, like there was something. You know what I'm saying? There was something. So it's really rare. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. So don't get me wrong. I don't want nobody to say, I listen to Divorce Not After podcast. And you know what I'm saying? No. But it is hard for a man to be just friends with a woman, especially if this woman is great. Think of it like this. As a man, if I marry you, right? I think you're great. I think you're beautiful. What other man is not going to think that? You know what I'm saying? And men are territorial regardless. That's my friend. She been my friend since day one. You know what I'm saying? And let's be real. Even the gay guys are sliding into females.
In her, for her explanation, she is saying that that's her, that's her gay friend,
let's be
her gay bestie, right? And that's why she's in his life because he gay.
Yeah, let me tell you, people, these guys out here right now, they talking gay, but they still be sliding in some coochie. Let's be real. Like there are a lot of gay guys out there that will be gay.
Yeah.
And they're straight gay, but they're sliding in some women.
Right.
They're like reverse DL. They're like D, you know what I'm saying? They D up. D, you know what I'm saying?
D up.
Not DL, not down low, down up.
D up.
D up. They D up. That's a new one. I hope it trends. D up. They are D up. They claim they gay, but they slide in some women. I know a lot of gay dudes, you know what I'm saying, that out here talking all that gayness, wearing purses and heels, but then they still banging chicks.
You know a lot. So
when if everybody knows, I had a show with Miss O called RSVP Talk in old building.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the modeling field, and in the modeling field, there's a lot of people of gay men in the modeling field.
Right.
So they used to come to the office and stuff like that. And countless conversations I've heard about, oh yeah, this girl, yeah, I hate it.
Well,
I'm saying like
maybe they're bisexual.
No, but they don't be claiming bisexual. they either want to try it one time or it's just for fun when they out. So at the end of the day, you can't even trust the gay friend because the gay friend, your girl maybe slid one night. They got drunk. Oh, we got drunk one night. Because women feel comfortable with their gay guy, right? So you're in the bathroom changing. Titty girl, oh girl, look at those. Oh, they think nothing of it. You get drunk, then he's sliding up in it, and then after he's like, oh, I shouldn't do it. I was watching this TV show where this guy was suspicious of his girl and his girl and her gay friend, right? And he's like, yo, I think they doing something. Come to find out, they were having sex. They did it a couple of times, and she got an abortion because she didn't know if it was the gay guy's baby or her man's,
her friend, or okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't even like. I trust girls more than I do guys when it comes to this. I don't think there's any men that could really be a friend to a girl. It just doesn't even make sense to be friends. And like I said, there's circumstances, let's say, we grew up together since kids and we've always been friends. But even at some point that's going to spark. Something's going to have happen. I think it's so rare that you don't even want to take the risk. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually, especially if she's a good woman, if you got a good woman and she's good to you, he gonna see that. Unless he gotta be married. You know what I'm saying? Then we do couples dates and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, I don't trust none of these dudes around my woman. You know what I'm saying? None of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you are married, there's other priorities and there's other boundaries that needs to be, so that way you all need to have just to make sure that, you're not crossing those lines. And I say, we're not saying to dump your friend.
No, I'm saying dump.
I'm not saying to
tell your woman she need to dump that nigga.
No, what I'm saying is it's good to have discussions about, friends and your marriage, right? So you can say, okay, so this person, if that's your best friend, as far as the opposite sex, then, there needs to be discussions. There needs to be, talked about boundaries, and you cannot just hang out with your opposite, best friend all the time.
I'm sorry, biblically, when you get married, your wife is your first thing, your husband is your first thing. Everything else is done. You know what I'm saying? Eat family, friends, all that stuff doesn't come before your marriage. You have to limit those relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to limit your relationship with your family, limit your relationship with those friends, because at the end of the day, when you get married, you are starting your life with your husband and you have to go. A lot of times we got into it in our marriage over a few years, stuff like that, because of family and friends and stuff like that on both sides, because we didn't understand certain boundaries. To us, we were thinking like, oh, it's nothing, because, we weren't doing nothing. There's no issue, but we didn't understand until later on that takes away from our marriage. We need to be focused on ourselves, focused on creating our family, because at the end of the day, yes, your family's there, you grew up with them, you love them. Yes, of course. And I'm not saying to cut them off where you block them and don't talk to nobody. That's stupid. But you have to definitely limit the interaction. You have to limit the way you move with them, because at the end of the day, you are one. When you get married, you are combining. You're together. You are one. And if that's not my friend, that's not your friend. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Especially of an opposite sex, I know somebody that like him and his wife. There's some guy, but that they grew up. They went to college together and stuff. And they grew up together. They were cool, but she got married, and now the guy and that guy are cool and hanging out and stuff like that. So that's a situation where everybody's best friends. You know what I mean? Like it's a different, but like if it's like an exclusive relationship over here where I don't know the dude, and you know what I'm saying, this dude is they hanging out, going to bars and drinking and getting food, all that. That's just highly inappropriate.
I don't think that's acceptable in a marriage. Because again, you're giving all your time to someone else, and it's really disrespecting your union. So friends, like I say, friends, it just needs to have conversations. Boundaries need to be established, and you just want to make sure that you're not telling that friend all of your marital business. Just do not let that type of friendship affects your marriage, because eventually, if you don't do anything, it will. It will cause a rift between you and your spouse, and that's on both sides, wife or husband. It will just start a rift, and just like the family too. Maybe there's not a lot of family functions that you don't have to go to everything, right? You don't have to hang out with your family every weekend. You don't have to see them every single, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Maybe, you guys can do one day on the weekend instead of Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe, you can do it on Friday or on Sundays, a day that you and your spouse don't have anything to do, or both of you just go and visit the families together.
See, what people don't understand, marriage is not you blending your life, your past life with your new life. Marriage is you starting a new life.
Right.
Okay. That means that you and your husband or you and your wife, everything from the past is irrelevant, meaning that it's cool, that's fine, but now we have to start building our lives together. When you are trying to bring the past into your marriage, old friends, family, everything into your marriage, that's not good. It has to be, in essence, a clean slate. Not saying, like I said, I'm not saying you cut everybody else on top. No, what I'm saying is you have to look at your marriage as like, now I'm at the next level. It's like you graduate from college, right? You had great times in college. You learned in college. You got your degree. You did all these things. But once you leave college, it's the next level of your life. You don't keep going to the parties on the college campuses.
Most do.
Well, I mean,
that's
what I'm saying. Those are those old dudes that keep going and pathetic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you let's be real. You be at the college, you see them old guys. Yo, they graduated 3 years ago. Why they still coming? Old fraternity guys, old Qs and Kappas and stuff. Old fraternity guys and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? You gotta look at it like that. Because when you leave college, you leave. When you left elementary school, you wasn't in junior high school going to the 6th grade dance. When you left junior high school, you wasn't in high school going to the junior 8th grade prom or the dances or no, you leave to the next level. That's how it is with marriage. Once you get married, it's the next level. Now, did you say hi to friends you saw? Or if you knew somebody that was still there, you said, hey, what's up there? That's cool. But overall, you moved on. And unless they went on with you to the next level, you didn't think anymore about it. And that's how marriage is. You move on. Yeah, your family, your friends, cool. You love them. Everything's cool. But you got to be focused on that. And you keep going back and, we still going to hang out. We taking this trip, all that. You got to let it go. You know what I'm saying? You got to limit that, especially with the opposite spouse. Now, you got your girlfriends, your boys. The dynamic of those relationship changes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're not in Miami no more.
You're not, but I do hear some of these, same-sex relationships have other, Brokeback Mountain.
What?
Where they said they were going fishing, but they were having relationships with each other.
Wow, we taking this a whole nother level.
I am just saying.
All right, so you know what? That's why you should have friends, because with today, your girl could be sleeping with her best friend, or your dude could be sleeping with his best friend. You know what I'm saying? Or male. So
no one is safe.
So no one's safe. So don't have friends. So the thing is this. No matter girl or guy in a relationship, you have to evaluate that relationship and change the boundaries of that relationship. Because at the end of the day, like Brokeback Mountain, what was they went there once a year to just bang or something? Was that?
No, it wasn't once a year. It was like every couple of months they were out, fishing.
I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen that movie?
I've never seen Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
I had no desire whatsoever once I heard what it was. Because when it first came out, people didn't know what it was about. Yeah. Then it started to be like, people started to find out what it was about and started telling others.
It was basically two best friends that claimed they were going, fishing and stuff. And then they were truly gay. And so they start having relationships. Well, of course, both of them were married and had families.
So if your husband is going to go fishing every few months with his boy,
And there's actually, I've seen some, I watch a lot of, Discovery. So there's different crime shows on that too.
Mhm.
It's crazy. It's out there. So,
At the end of the day, I think it comes down to honesty and you focusing on your marriage.
mhm.
Now, if you put yourself in a Brokeback Mountain situation, your marriage was doomed from the get-go because
Yeah,
you wasn't honest.
you weren't honest.
And I think that's extreme.
That's very, yes. That's,
But I think before you get married, y'all both have to sit down and evaluate how your marriage looks.
mhm.
Talk about not only financial gain, personal gains, all that, kids, all that, but also talking about people
Yeah,
that
your
you want
friends.
into the marriage, because it's very important that you establish those boundaries. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with totally cutting somebody off where like, I'm blocking you, but it has to be limitations to the interaction out of respect for your marriage, because you should be focused on your marriage. And don't think your friends are your outlet and all that stuff. That's not true. I always hear in divorces that women, particularly women, are saying that they can't be them in their marriage.
Mhm.
And I always find that kind of like bullshit, because at the end of the day, you could do whatever you want and still be married. Now, if you have a husband that's controlling, that's another subject.
Mhm.
But in general, if you want to go to college, get a job, whatever, you should be able to do that within the constraints of your marriage.
You should. You should.
So don't think, and if you can't find that your husband or wife is your best friend, that when times are hard or you feel bad, you can't talk to them and hang out with them, then something's wrong with your marriage. If you need your friends and all these other people, or AEI, you need your friend who's of the other gender to be there for you, and not your wife or your husband, there's something wrong with your marriage. Because at the end of the day, your wife or your husband should be your best friend.
Yes.
And that should be the person that when
That you
times
go
are hard,
to.
this shouldn't be like, I'm hanging out with my friend, relief. Especially if it's the opposite sex.
Yeah,
No.
to stress relief and stuff. I mean, I hang out with my girlfriend.
I'm here. I give you that stress relief, girl.
Oh my. Yes, but we're not talking about that.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But I mean, like for women, I think it's very important to have, girlfriends and stuff, especially if you have a good, set of girlfriends, from different walls of life or why not. I think it's very good to have.
But you have to have boundaries.
But you do have to have boundaries. I don't go out with my girlfriends every weekend, because again, I keep saying, and I'm going to work on that, y'all. I really am.
Yeah, because at the beginning of our marriage, you did that a lot.
Yes, I did. I used to go out. I mean, I went out a lot. I was still, living as a single free woman when I was married. But again, and that did bring a lot of strain in our marriage early on. So we kind of, knew that situation. And so we have knowledge of it and we know what can happen. And that's why we're here to, give you guys some good.
Yeah, it never ends well. You know what I'm saying?
It does not.
Because see, what happens is when you're going through a whole bunch of things as a man or a woman, you're confining other people. And sometimes that confinement leads to situations or mistakes that should be made. You know what I'm saying? We've been there, made mistakes and stuff like that, where at the end of the day, it didn't help our marriage, having anybody else involved in our marriage.
It just caused more chaos.
It caused more chaos and more problems. It's a way of avoidance, because to be honest, you're only using those people for their time and effort because they want to listen to you because your husband or your wife is.
Or you say they're not listening. So
you need to really understand that, these friends, the same sex, okay, cool, but there's a limit, there's a boundary. Opposite sex, stay away from it, because it could ultimately lead to the downfall of your marriage.
Yes.
Because depending on the friend, you may feel I have options. You know what I'm saying? And then that person being your friend, they're never going to tell you what you should hear. You know, people say, "Oh, it's my friend."
Yeah,
it's
no,
rare
they're
that a
always going to
friend's
tell you what you shouldn't
exactly
do.
You're going to say, "I hate this dude,"
And they're going to say, yup.
"Yeah, girl, you should leave him." And then also, let's be real. Afterwards, it's always an awkward situation. The guy you was just bashing, the guy you was saying you hate, he did all this stuff to you. All of a sudden, you back with him now. Especially if this is the opposite gender friend, you know they're gonna look at you like you stupid. Yo, you know that nigga playing you. Why
Why you with him? Why you still?
Why you with your wife? She don't love
but
you.
see, that's something that girls go through a lot too. With, but it's usually with the same sex. I mean, we go through that a lot too with the same sex. If you're telling them your issues, like, girl, I thought you guys were through. Now y'all back together. What are you doing? So it's even worse for the opposite sex.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, let's be honest. I guess this is another topic we're talking about. We have them single friends.
That's another topic.
That you know what I'm saying? So there is no, to me, when I look at it, there's no scenario that is ultimately positive to have a friend of the opposite gender. Like, I don't see any way that benefits your marriage in any way. And like I said, when I say friend, I mean somebody you're constantly seeing.
Right, someone you're constantly going out with.
I'm not talking about
like
an associate that once in a while you text, how you doing, what's going on, I hope you stuff like. I'm talking about somebody that is in your life constantly. To me, that's a friend. So that there is no scenario where that leads to anything that's good. Even it could even be seen as wrong, like with Gucci Man. Back to what we talked about originally, that could have been an innocent picture.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like I say, because Carlos is gay, so for her, that's like, oh, he's gay.
But what I'm saying,
that's her best.
But you know what? Most of the people on the internet don't know that. Most people don't understand that. All they see is that picture.
No. I mean, it's disrespectful either way, regardless if he is or not. It is still disrespectful to be sitting on another man while you're married. I mean, that's just disrespectful to your husband. But
also, let's give her some grace. She held him down.
Wasn't she the one dating?
No.
What's his name?
No, she held him down. She's the one that when he was in jail, he gave her a meal. And she flipped it with her businesses. When he got out, she's been holding him down ever since.
I thought that was Rick Ross' ex.
No.
Oh, no?
I don't think so now.
I thought it was. Okay.
Anyway, maybe so. I don't know.
I thought so. I don't know.
But she'd been with him before he got in jail.
Oh, right. Okay. I see.
You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know these people. I don't care about it.
Like I said,
okay.
That could have been a photo op. You know what I'm saying? Because, they're in that life.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that could have been a photo op. That could have been a moment. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to jump to conclusions, but most people on the net will. Most people looking at Gucci Man sideways like, You're
I don't know how they look at him sideways. I mean, she comes out half naked every single day. So what?
Yeah, but not half naked sitting on a guy's lap. That's a completely different half naked.
Different, right?
That's a completely different half naked.
For me, like I say, as far as in the marriage, it's mad disrespectful. And their relationship, I don't know, don't care. But for all of our listeners and viewers out there, if you are married, please don't go sit on the opposite sex lap or same sex lap.
You know what? Just your best friend is your spouse.
Yes.
And at that point, y'all talk. And if somebody's your best friend, that's their best friend too.
Exactly.
You need to be in it together. Okay. Cool. Well, I appreciate you for listening. Real quick. Appreciate all the sales of the book.
Much. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, thank you, everybody. Men are meant to be broken. Definitely men. It's about taking accountability and using trauma to empower yourself. So definitely, man, pick up the book. Appreciate that. Also, the product lines, cultured.skin. You know what I'm saying? We have our seller, Sweet Ruby for the women, and then we have clay for your skin and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, we appreciate the sales of people that really have rocked with it.
Butter.
So Definitely go to couplecritics.com. Check out the critics page. We have all reviews of, we're already working that page. It shows, movies. We update the site so it's even faster. We had some slowdown people were complaining about. I did some teching and found out, and now the site is like lightning fast.
It's super fast. It's quantum.
Yeah. So a lot of sites get certain ratings, the AESO, the CEOs, all that stuff, and the analytics and stuff. And ours is at 81 over 100. Which other people's websites like 75.
It's good. So definitely, and we're independent.
So definitely go support. Okay, that's it, right? That's it. And Black Men's Mental Health Podcast.
Yes,
I will be getting back to it.
I was gonna say I've been getting DMs asking you when are you gonna.
I know, and I'm gonna get back to it. But like I said, we've been doing so much.
We have
that it's just been a lot going on. New business ventures and all that stuff. But life is lifing, but it's good though.
It's a good life.
Good life in life is so.
It's good lifing this time.
Thank God. So especially with all the tragedy happening last year, the end of last year. So 2025 has been good so far, and Trump hasn't affected us yet. So thank God. Hopefully
we'll talk about that.
Hopefully soon. It won't affect us. But anyway, all right, guys. Until next time, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye.